Good day to lecturers and friends, I'm Ching. Today I would like to present about my coursework in the course of Management Accounting. For the content of today is, first, we are going to briefly learn about what is Management Accounting. Next is the budgetary process. In addition is a zero-based budgeting based on a case study, and also how the planning, controlling, and decision making can improve the performance of the company. And the last one is the computation techniques in management accounting. First is about the management accounting. Management accounting is the application of professional knowledge and skill in the preparation and presentation of accounting information in an organization. For the budgetary process is the process that the employee, the management, and all the participants to prepare the budget. As you can see from the pictures, there are 8 stages for the budgeting process, but today we're just going to talk about 2 of the process. For the first one is communication. Communication is to ensure that all the budget-related information can be expressed clearly and effectively among the management and also the participants. For the advantages of communication is this allows the budget process to begin with a discussion with the management team and also the participants, and also ensuring that all the participants have a better understanding of the budget objective and also can be demonstrate how to achieve the goal. For the disadvantages is the communication can lead to the misunderstanding and the miscommunication between the participants, as we know that the communication has its own barriers, for example, language. The employees are unwilling to communicate with the top management is also one of the disadvantages of communication. For next is to determine the factors that restrict the output as known as the limiting factors. For the advantages of determine the limiting factors can be properly analyze the limiting factors, find these factors, and also can find out the solution to make the budget become better. For next is determine the limiting factors can allow to fully allocate the scarce of resources. For the disadvantages of determining the limiting factors is after the participant determine the limiting factor, they must be rediscussed about the solution, or maybe they need to redo again the budget. So this solution will become more complex method for limiting these factors. Now is going to discuss about the zero-based budgeting. Zero-based budgeting is a system which a yearly budget for a department or a company that start with zero. For the advantages of ZBB is during the epidemic, the business turned to ZBB to solve their budget problems in order to keep their operation and performance running. The benefits of using ZBB during COVID-19 outbreak is that the company can use ZBB in cutting companies' expenses. ZBB can assist the company in identifying the area that require the most expenses from zero, as well as preparing for the long-term change in future. Furthermore, ZBB assists the company finance departments in developing a better budget through long-term change based on the cost cutting. ZBB is a bottom-up budget reduction for each company can demonstrate that controlling the cost of each project is simple. According to the case study, ZBB's contribution to the company is to complete the company to create a new budget plan after affected by the epidemic. According to the report, these unnecessary expenses include reducing the advertising, employees' travel costs, and warehouse labor during the COVID-19. ZBB is used to put the money in the most important position of the company rather than planning how much budget the company requires. ZBB's role is to assist the company in obtaining better benefits through the budget plans and allow the company to reorganize the supply chain during the epidemic period. For the disadvantages, in the case study, the company will be ignore the innovative idea because of the company was to focus on cutting costs. Furthermore, after applying the ZBB, the company began to ignore the company's brand's quality, by reducing their advertising expenses. ZBB may have a subjective influence on certification, ranking, and fund allocation, which can lead to the departmental conflicts. Moreover, ZBB overemphasized cost-cutting projects and relevant personnel are only concerned with short-term benefit while ignoring the long-term goal. Because of the epidemic situation, companies may face problems when they begin using ZBB. The management team may lack of the necessary skill, result in the incorrect use of ZBB, and become worse and make the company become worse. Make the company situation become worse. In conclusion, using ZBB during the epidemic period is the wise decision. The economic situation is not good during the epidemic period, so company must face the problem. The company can cut costs and expenses in the time through ZBB. We can budget the current change through ZBB, allow the company to deal with the long-term impact of the epidemic. Despite the fact that ZBB has many disadvantages, researchers believe that only the company have the necessary talent and ability to solve the problem brought by ZBB. Next, we're going to talk about how the planning, controlling, and also the decision making can be improve the performance of the company. Aside of using ZBB to keep the company running normally during the epidemic, the company can improve its performance through planning, control, and decision making. Planning entails create short and long-term plans and action to achieve specific objective. Company will focus less on cost cutting and more on goal, cost saving, and also R&D in their planning. This is some ZBB cannot afford to include in the company budget. In terms of controlling, the company can control and reduce the expenditure that have little contribution value to the company from the standpoint of cost saving rather than cutting the expenditure due to the pandemic. To improve the company performance through decision making, it is necessary to understand the consumer taste and shopping habits in order to make product plans and decisions. In addition, to understand the consumer's interest, the company can make a final budget decision after understanding the market and competition situation. However, planning and other methods place a great emphasis on product innovation, the company and the product market, even though the distribution. These are the primary long-term plans that can provide the company's performance, can improve the company's performance. In comparison to ZBB, planning, controlling, and decision making are focused on developing new markets and developing budget plans to improve the company's performance. Furthermore, these aspects are concerned with branding issues that ZBB does not address. After rephrasing the company's brand image, the plan is to improve the company business ability. These behaviors are to consider the company's advantage and disadvantage before any investment action rather than cutting the budget and easily solving the problems unconsidered. In this way, planning and controlling and decision making can improve the company's performance more efficiently rather than other methods like for example ZBB. In conclusion, ZBB helps the company to accurately reduce the company's expenditure in order to maintain the normal operation of the company. However, researchers suggest that a better budget can be made through planning, controlling, and decision making. In this way, the company can reduce the expenses while considering other aspects of problem, improving the company performance, and allow the company to face the effects of the problems that bring by the COVID-19. For the next one is we are going to talk about the computation techniques. The computation techniques are fast, easier, reliable, and efficiency way or method for solving the mathematical, scientific, engineering, and others problems that while using the computers. For today, we are just going to talk about the limiting factor and the variance. Limiting factor is any factors that prevents the organization for expanding its activity furthermore due to the inefficient supplies. For the advantages of limiting factor is limiting. If we using the limiting factor analysis, is the ability to properly analyze the limiting factor during the analysis and allow the company to gain a deeper understanding of the meaning of these factors in the enterprise production. In addition, is to provide the pertinent information to the company due to the limiting factor analysis. For the disadvantages is when the company using the limiting factors analysis, there are multi-constraints are present and more complex methods in this analysis will be required to draw the meaningful conclusions and helping decision making. For the last one is about the variance. Variance is concerned with the comparison of budget and actual budget financial performance and also the actual financial performance. For the advantages of variance is the efficiency budgeting and can also serve as a control machine. The advantages of variance is to understand the reason for the major deviations of the basic project and also help in the assignment of responsibility and the application of control machines to departments as needed. For the disadvantages of variance is this variance is time-consuming activities that is based on the finance result. And also the impact of the variance is impact on the remedial measure to some extent. And last, the variance is not all sources of differences can use to in accounting data, taking action and difference difficulties. That's all for today's presentation. Thank you guys for listening to me.